Harry, first of all, just tell us while we're here at the Valley today, you're getting involved in a North against South Legends game.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Charlton. Robbie Fowler's going to manage the North team. I've got to pick a team of players that are southern based or played down the south of England, and we're going to have a game here. And look, already my mind's ticking. Going who we can get, what players I can get, who fit into that. It's got to be players that are retired. So I'm suddenly thinking, can I get Paolo Di Canio? Will he be fit enough to play still? I saw him last year. He still looked in great nick. Zola would be a great player if he could still. What a player he was. Mark Noble would be good. Jack Wiltshire, people like that. They'd still be good players. So my mind's ticking over who we can find.
Have you tapped up around Darren Bent yet? He's been on a bit of a fitness regime as well.
Yeah, Darren would play. Darren would still be that's a good shout. We could do with Darren. I like that one. He'd do me for sure.
And you're confident Robbie Fowler obviously is sort of just making his way in management. I guess it's the sort of master against a potential apprentice, so you want to come out on top there.
I don't know. Robbie's. I love Robbie. Great. Robbie's a lad, another one of the boys really who just don't get an opportunity, needs to manage. Talking to Robbie Keane last night, he's another one. So much to offer. They don't get the opportunity. No one gives him a job here. He's got to go to Hungary and manage. Robbie went to Australia to manage. I think it's quite sad, really. We see lower division clubs keep bringing in foreign managers. Every time they want a manager, they bring in somebody from somewhere, I don't know, and it disappoints me. There's lots of great lads here who could do a good job given a chance.
And I guess the case in point there is Eddie Howe, because there could be an argument that if Bournemouth hadn't given him that opportunity all those years ago, then maybe his career could have turned out very different.
If Eddie hadn't got injured playing for me, I signed Eddie. Eddie was my first signing for Portsmouth. I took him and Richard Hughes. Richard's now gone to Liverpool as head of recruitment or whatever. Big position at Liverpool, Richard. But Eddie was Eddie was a good player. People don't realise what a good player. Eddie, I always likened Eddie, listen, there was only ever one Bobby Moore. Bobby was on another planet to anybody. But Eddie was a poor man's Bobby Moore. He played at the back, played the same position as Bobby, not the tallest, not lightning quick, but read the game, understood the game, always in the right position, could pass it, made the game look simple, had a great football brain. And so my first signing when I went to Portsmouth, I'd watched Eddie over the years at Bournemouth and thought he should be playing higher. And I took him into the Championship, hoping that he could take me into the Premier League with Portsmouth. And first game of the season, not Forest, he did his knee ligaments, made a real mess of his knee. And really, that's what finished him. He got into the coaching after that, And so, in some ways, it might have been a blessing in disguise for him. The injury, maybe he wouldn't have got into the coaching when he did. But yeah, he's done fantastic. He's a lovely guy, he never gets too up, never gets too down. He's a steady Eddie, but knows the game, good coach on the training ground every day out there working with the players. He enjoys that most of all. He's been loyal to his staff. He's taken the Jason Tyndalls and Steve Purchases and the lads from Bournemouth everywhere with him. He's got a good backroom staff. And Newcastle, if ever a club deserved to win a trophy, it was Newcastle. Their fans, they've just been amazing, haven't they? Over the years, you went there when things weren't going well, the place is full up with black and white shirts, everybody getting behind their team. So for the neutrals yesterday, I love Liverpool, but if they were anybody, neutral yesterday, they had to be cheering for Newcastle in a way, because it's been so long and it's great to see them, and we've seen how much it means to them.
And in some ways, England's lost Newcastle's game, because I still find it perplexing that the FA didn't even speak to Eddie in the summer when that job became available.
No, it's silly, wasn't it, really? I just thought maybe Eddie didn't fancy it at the moment. He's at a great club, but he would have took it. No one can turn the England job down, can you? He should have been nailed on for that job. It's crazy that he didn't get the job, Was he got to win a cup now to prove that he can manage England? I mean, it's so silly, isn't it, really? Look at what he'd done, look at his achievements at Bournemouth over the years, 4th Division, or Division 2 as it's called now, into the Premier at Bournemouth. It's beyond belief, If you'd have said to me, Bournemouth being in the Premier League one day, I'd have thought you were off your head. And he's took him 100 years, never been out of Division 3 or 4. So what he did there was crazy. And so, yeah, he's got all the credentials, everything, and he's English. I want to see an English manager, and he's the number one. He's the man for the job. There's no doubt about that.
Let's talk quickly about another of your old clubs, Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou, I think, under fresh pressure. 15 Premier League defeats after they lost at Fulham at the weekend. Do you think he almost has to win the Europa League to ease that pressure, because it's a really low position for Spurs to find themselves in?
Yeah, I suppose he does, really, to be perfectly truthful. I mean, I was, when he got the job at the start of the year, I was last year, I was pulling for Ange. I said I think he'd be the man for the job. I liked him, what I'd seen of him. I thought he'd be great. It just hasn't worked out. They've had injuries. It's not, and whatever. But yeah, it's been a poor season. We have to be truthful, and it's all reliant now, really, on winning this competition, which I think they should win. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful. I look at the teams that are in it, and it's a team full of quite second-rate teams, really. Teams that are fifth, sixth in the Dutch league or wherever they are, or the best team probably is the German team. Eintracht Frankfurt. I think they're probably fourth or whatever in their league, but they're not Bayern Munich. They're not Bayer Leverkusen. They're okay. So, and Tottenham, when everybody's fit, it's a competition they should win. So if they can win that, I think it'll hide a multitude of sins this year, because it has been a really disappointing season for Tottenham. Just
one on your nephew, Frank. Yeah. Absolutely smashing it at Coventry. How pleased are you for him? Because he's had a few detractors along the way as well.
Yeah, it's all about, people get carried away. Football management, you lose a few games, you're useless. You win a few games, you're a genius. Graham Taylor once said, your manager is never as good as you think he is. He's never as bad. He's somewhere in between. And that is how it works. Frank, he's took over clubs really where it's been difficult. Chelsea, when they had the transfer embargo, finished fourth still, whatever. Now he's gone to Coventry. Mark Robbins did a good job, fantastic job there. And then Mark lost his job, and then they were gone through a dip, and Frank's gone there and lifted it again and done a brilliant job. But I had no doubts about it. Listen, what Frank Lampard don't know about football, he's played 100 and odd times for England. He's scored 20 goals every year. He understands the game. It ain't rocket science. He knows, he's got the best out of them players. And there's loads of lads, I keep saying, like him around, I still want to see the Stevie Gerrards get back in, I think he's, suddenly he's had one bad or one indifferent spell, and suddenly, oh well, Stevie Gerrard, yeah, he's written off. It's crazy. These boys, they've got something to offer, and I want to see them get back in and get the opportunity to manage. There's lots of very lads out there, English lads, who just don't get the opportunities, or people can't wait for them to fail for some reason. And it's great to see Frank doing so well at Coventry, and let's hope he can get them in the playoffs, which I think he every chance now. And if he can get them up, it'll be wonderful,
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.